If you want to make an invader in Elden Ring, you want to make a tank. Thick, healthy, buff as a boxer, and the Lord knows, ultra holy, sacred, blessed, and touched. Other than the big man upstairs, there's a lot of pulls to faith in Elden Ring, and on 1.10, you're going to need a tank if you want to get through the Ganks. Today's invader build is all about the best ways to tank in Elden Ring, buffs and hyperarmor. But I think I'd be lying to you if I told you that the Holy Golden Light Show isn't a part of it. This build is level 70 at plus 12, plus 5 to match with a wide range of level brackets. This gives you invasions from level 63 all the way up to 97, and gives you a massive weapon range of plus 8/4 to plus 17/7. You'll be invading all over the map and have a good variety of organic invasions and a few goofy ganks. Buildmaking in Elden Ring is one of my favorite aspects of the game. This is one of the reasons I like invading at lower levels. The buildmaking, while not as complete, is just more interesting. It forces you into many trade-offs that don't exist in making builds at meta level or higher. This build is specifically oriented around finding a good combination of faith-based Ashes of War that take advantage of hyperarmor in order to play well in outnumbered situations. A build like this is squeezing as much as it can out of the stats. This is a Prophet starting class. You can also do this build on Vagabond and Confessor without much difference in the end result. The Prophet starting Mind is decent for giving us more FP to buff and spam Ashes of War. We have 40 Vigor at level 70, which is around 1500 with the Erdtree plus 2. For stat requirements, we have 14 Dex for Dismounter, 20 Strength for the Lance and Marika's Hammer, and 30 Faith for Black Flame Protection and Giant's Flame Take Thee, as well as some decent scaling on our sacred weapons. All of my builds, for the most part, start with Great Jar Arsenal because I want as much resistance and poise as possible. 64 poise allows me to tank some dagger and twin blade hits, as well as the first part of several power stance hits. Believe me, even hitting limited breakpoints matters in invasions, as getting stunlocked by a crowd of dagger-wielding shankers is not so fun. Your base poise also matters for your hyperarmor calculations, and if you're just tuning in now, it's in the running for my #1 most used word in all my videos next to monkey. Searching for the correct mix of armor, weapons, spells, buffs, consumables, and of course fashion are all part of the enjoyment of testing some of the limits of invasion build making in Elden Ring. And being able to make a build that has so many different components at lower levels, while more intensive, gives you a lot more payoffs with invaders that win more and that you want to play with more frequently. Black Flame Protection is easily one of the best aspects of a Faith build on this patch, as unlike similar buffs, it retained its 30% physical damage reduction stat. Just don't stack other similar defensive body buffs with it, Crab, Opally, and Hard Tier, unless it's Golden Vow. I don't use Golden Vow stacked with it because it does cost tons of FP, but it certainly does work on builds like this. The idea behind this build is to use and abuse some of the hyperarmor changes on 1.10 to make a tricky invader with a lot of area of effect, area denial, and hyperarmor heavy hard swaps. I use Sacred Blade Dismounter as my main weapon on the build. Sacred Blade is great for starting from neutral, and the relatively low recovery makes it so that I can either blender a phantom or deal some decent damage before trying to get away. I talked a lot about Dismounter in my previous video. It does have great scaling on Faith, has great roll catches and chase downs, the late R1 combos into another R1, and all around takes all the best things about Curved Greatsword and packages them very nicely. One of the unique things that Dismounter can accomplish in invasions is that the wide arcing hits, hyperarmor, and speed of the neutral R1s make it so that you can control multiple aggressors if you time your attacks correctly. You can quickly lock on and bat people around and create more room for your next swap or chase down. My other main weapon is the Shamshir, which is great for chase downs and whiff punishes. Sacred Blade is my go-to for both of these weapons, an excellent damage buff that also gives you long-range punish options and deals big damage even at this level or really any level. Sacred Blade is just busted. Another huge pull for Faith builds is the power of Consumables. All of the holy damage pots deal ridiculous flat damage, and the lower level you are, the more unfair it is. In some invasions I spam them a lot because they just deal incredible damage. I have a few other fun tools in the build, including Wing Scythe to finish hosts and my new favorite, the Iron Greatsword. This thing gets ridiculous sacred scaling, being one of our most damaging weapons at level 70 with around 500 AR. We even have the stats to use the very mediocre Erdtree Greatbow, which still has some nice applications in spite of its compromised damage. This build started and finished with an idea to use Golden Land, Marika's Hammer, and Black Flame Tornado. Golden Land is Faith's best attempt at a Waves of Darkness impression. It doesn't have the same kind of lingering hitboxes, but it accomplishes area denial well, and although the Hyperarmor startup is a bit slow, it can trade with most normal attacks in the game. The R2 follow-up deals big damage and knocks down. I have the Ashe on my beloved Zweihander because why wouldn't I? On a mid-level build and only 19 strength requirement, Zwei is the perfect weapon to fit Colossal only Ash of Wars on an invader. I go into the animation sometimes when a phantom is behind me so that it will trade, and then sometimes go for the follow-up to try and get the kill. The golden darts of Holy Light can deal good damage and smite many a foe who attempt to drink Estus or roll at the wrong time. Particles of Sacred Bless damage will focus whoever you're targeting when the land gets golden, so you can chase down one person and have a crowd control effect on someone else. Getting kills like this is satisfying. Of course, any Faith build or really any good invasion build that isn't Int or Arc these days has to have a Black Flame Tornado. This is a bread and butter, don't leave home without an Ash of War on this patch. If you ever hit less than 2 people with this thing, it's a huge failure. It's capable of double kills and triple kills and is one of the best door trapping Ash of Wars in the game because it does go through walls and has a large area of effect. The Hyperarmor startup is very fast, and although not as robust as something like Golden Land or Marika's Hammer, it can tank a number of small weapon hits. Patch 1.10 had a huge influence on the viability of this Ash of War. Where it was good before, it's great now. The reason for this is whereas before you could roll out of it after being hit once, if you get stunned by one of these little black flame damage ticks on this patch, you're stuck in that thing until the big finish, which, depending on your position, is impossible to roll. Fun times, excellent gank spanking tool, and this is the type of turnaround move that the game is all about. You're never completely out of an invasion when you have an Ashe like Black Flame Tornado in your kit. And on top of that, it's really funny to throw a whole team flying in the air. Speaking of Ashes of War that burger flip, Marika's Hammer flips more burgers than Burger King? So you want Hyperarmor. How about Infinite Hyperarmor? Goldbreaker is one of the few Ashes in the game that can't be broken without a specific type of knockdown. Lion's Claw, Fortisax's Lightning Spear, and a few other Ashes and spells in this game also have this feature, and it's powerful. Knowing that your Ashe will conclude without being stunned is a confidence that other moves don't generate. And while this knowledge is a very sharp sword, it does have 2 edges. Infinite Hyperarmor is like a superhuman who doesn't feel pain. They make great fighting machines, but they might not know when to quit. Don't be overconfident with this thing. Starting up at low health or when you're surrounded by 3 people isn't highly recommended. But it does burger flip! It flips those phantoms faster than Hank Hill at a tailgate on a propane grill. It can flip people off the ledge just like your crusty burger that fell off the bun at Burger King. Everyone remembers getting roll caught by this thing against Radagon. That's because the weird speed it comes out at is difficult to predict, and even people who know the timing of it sometimes roll too early. This makes it very, very strong, especially against people who are panicking. When I spawn into a cave gank with this thing, the perceived balance of power can change real quickly. To end the video, I'll show you a nice 1v3 invasion I had in Raya Lucaria. It's in the next part of the map from the one I had in my last video, so from here on out, I'll just show 1v3 sequentially for every area of the game. It's the same group too, in case you were wondering. This is a good invasion to show because it shows the way all of these Ashes can be used together in different situations. Not sure if this was a gank or not because the level is completely dead. Based on their skill level and the level of fat rolling, I'm guessing it was a fairly honest group, but remember, in invasions that doesn't matter, especially in a 3v1. We also have one of the ganker's favorite spam cannons, the Reduvia, which is something that I always try to roll in invasions because the damage plus bleed buildup is way too hard to tank. I almost killed this Phantom, but I couldn't even throw a Fan Dagger. They get pushed back to the last part of the map, where Goldbreaker makes a perfect get off me button. Thanks for watching to this point. Mid-level invasions are perfect. It's a good mix of decent health and decent damage. You invade almost everywhere on the map, and you can have just enough stats to have plenty of get-out-of-jail-free cards. Thanks for watching. I've got more build videos just like this one on the way. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell.